it comes to defining your interior design style, I have two slightly opposing opinions. On one hand, it kind of bothers me when people use completely meaningless adjectives to drive their entire design style. And as I've said before on this channel, I feel like designing great spaces is more about the art of combining things that you love and evaluating how colors, pieces, textures, and materials interact with each other to create a balance in a space. But all of that said, I also feel like it can be really fun to have a bit of a North Star that can inspire you as you go through that process. And I think one way you can do that is by sort of inventing your own style using words that have meaningful associations to you. For example, I always feel really cozy and inspired whenever I'm in a tea house or a conservatory, so what if that could serve as my North Star? In this video, I'm gonna flesh out what I think characterizes this Teahouse Conservatory style and show how we could design a room with those characteristics. These two types of places are my favorite to visit whenever I am traveling to a new city, so I wanted to share just a few inspiration photos of places that I've been to in the last couple of years that have really inspired me, just so you can kind of get on my wavelength and see what I'm inspired by when it comes to this style. So in my head, there are several things that I think could characterize this style really well to bring it to life. The first and maybe most important one is all about light. Firstly, with the exterior windows, of course, we're thinking greenhouse, so just the more windows, the better. And maybe these windows could even have a unique quality to them. They could be curved, they could incorporate stained glass for a bit of color, some sort of unique shape for the paneling or the framing. And these windows, I feel, should not just be reserved for the exterior walls, but also should be brought into the space as well. So I picture, to get this cozy feeling that we're going for, open concept is maybe not the way to go. So bringing in room dividers that are made of glass in order to diffuse the natural light further into the space. Again, these could be like completely transparent windows if you want to have a lot of line of sight within the space, but it could also be things like these glass bricks so that you're diffusing the light but you can't actually see through them. So along with the natural light, I think any artificial light brought into the space should be very soft and diffused as well. So things like these rice paper lanterns or linen shades, anything with this light fabric type of feel, I think would be a really good fit for this look. Next is the use of wood. So I think overall, bringing in really natural elements and bringing nature from the outside in. So wood that feels really warm, whether it's paneled on the walls or used in furniture. I think any furniture brought in could be nice if it was really hand carved and felt like the shapes in it were super organic. And in my head, I'm picturing a very specific type of wood, type of color. It's this Japanese pear wood. It's got this just really, really warm tone to it. Speaking of color, I see a couple ways you could go with this. I think all natural colors are going to be really important. So you could stay really, really neutral, but I also see this style fitting really well with colors like maybe a matcha green, maybe even a mustard yellow or a rust or terracotta color. I think because those show up a lot in tea houses with the colors of the actual sort of spices and tea leaves, I think that really brings it all together color-wise. So that said, I don't see really many white walls in a space like this. I think the walls within these types of spaces should either have the wood paneling, tile, or be painted in a really organic way, like plaster walls with lime wash, maybe in one of these colors. I wouldn't go dark and moody by any means, but stark white is also definitely not the way to go. Somewhere in the middle with these really natural but like happy colors. When it comes to decor, I don't see this type of space having a lot of like rectangular canvas framed art on the walls. I think any additional wall left over that's not taken up by windows or storage or wood paneling should be sort of just left to let the eye take in everything else. Lastly, of course, we can't forget lots of plants as decor. So I see a lot of sculptural plants looking really good. I think probably because my mind goes to a lot of Japanese tea rooms, and a lot of Japanese plants, at least I think, look really sculptural, maybe a little bit more sparse, almost plants as art. Lots of ceramics, so definitely ceramic pots for the plants, ceramic teapots and teacups displayed everywhere and also out on the table, because of course in this style of home you would be enjoying tea quite often. Okay, so now let's bring all of that to life in a real room. Since the Dober tea house that I was so inspired by is in Asheville, I set my Zillow to Asheville and chose this home that I think would really benefit from some decor and styling like this. This is more of an average home in that it probably looks like many other homes. There's not like floor to ceiling windows, it's not super fancy. It's kind of mid-price range, so I think this would be a good challenge. We're just gonna do the living room in this video because otherwise we'd be here for hours, but let me show you what I came up with. Okay, so here is the living room before. We're just gonna empty it out, and then what I was thinking was, by really prioritizing natural light, if we knocked out this middle wall and instead brought in these glass bricks for a bit of a room divider here, again, it would let the light in from the other rooms and from this room as well. There's a big window sort of behind our view right here. And then I don't love the color of these walls, so I was thinking, what if we did like a very light matcha green color? And we would also of course need to include the ceiling. Luckily we already have these beautiful hardwood floors that are pretty much the exact color that I would be going for with this style. So then on that right wall, what if we had just a big wood cabinet built-in situation? So this is a piece of furniture, not necessarily a built-in, but it definitely acts as a built-in because it is going to take up the full wall, floor to ceiling. And there's so much you can do with this. We'll add a few decorations in a bit, but I like that it's a very similar color to the wood floors, so not too much contrast, all very warm. But that said, we definitely do need to break it up a little bit, so adding a rug in this dark rust color. For lighting, this rice paper lamp, bringing in this brown velvety couch. I like that it's really low. I like that it almost feels like a booth. So for the furniture in the space, I want both couches to feel almost like a built-in booth that you would sit in a tea house. There's no arms. Yeah, I just like that look. I think it fits well for this style. Of course, we needed to bring in some pattern. We've got that mustard yellow color that I wanted to bring in. And then we're gonna do a table in between them. So this is like, I think, a jade colored stone table. It's so pretty. Again, I like how it's low. I like how everything in this space is kind of low. It makes it feel cozier for some reason. I decided we needed another chair here to sort of round out this area. I didn't want a big one blocking the walking path, but I think just one little carved wood chair will really add a lot to this space in terms of character and also just rounding out the seating area. And then lastly, just bringing in the decor. So obviously plants is going to be the most important thing. So putting one really big one next to that couch there, one on the table, and then a few. You could do so many more even on those built-ins. Next, just adding some books. And then of course, ceramics. So we have lots of teapots and teacups everywhere. Again, you could do tons more on those built-ins. Now this is the living room from the opposite view. This is the before. So as you can see, we've got a big window here and also these closet doors when you walk in the front door to the left. So on those windows, I just did these really nice linen Roman shades. And then I've just changed the closet doors from those white ones into these wood ones with the really long handles. I think these are so beautiful and go with the rest of the space. And they definitely balance out what's on the opposite wall. So you've got those wood built-ins on the opposite wall and the wood closet doors here. That just kind of frames the space really well and creates a lot of balance. And then you can see this printed couch from a better angle here. I think something like this would be so pretty. And I've also balanced out the other side of the couch with this little side table where we've got another lamp with this linen shade. There's literally no better way to use my completely amateur Photoshop skills than to do something like this. I had a lot of fun with it. Let me know if you enjoyed it and you'd want to see more videos like this. Give this video a thumbs up, make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!